if I'm honest. And I think we should focus our attention towards the Tank fight. You know, I think that's the biggest fight in American boxing.
I hope one day seeing Shakur against Tank.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, you and Canelo Alvarez were not on the same page.
Stevenson's defense of his World Boxing Council lightweight title against Floyd Schofield has hit a significant hurdle. Schofield has pulled out of the fight and will no longer face Stevenson this Saturday. As initially reported by Ring Magazine, the withdrawal was evident when Schofield failed to show up at Tuesday's grand arrivals in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. To add more confusion, Schofield's father and trainer made an odd statement that quickly sparked a reaction from Stevenson's co-manager.
He's a good young fighter, hungry fighter, but I hope he still take the fight. I mean, I'm kind of worried because he's not here. I was kind of excited to see him.
Do you have a sudden turn of events put Stevenson in a tight spot, needing to make a quick decision on selecting a suitable opponent. He can't just pick anyone obscure because a win wouldn't make an impact. It could also prevent him from testing his skills against a more experienced opponent. However, selecting a challenging opponent comes with its own risks, especially if Stevenson isn't fully prepared. Striking the right balance is key, particularly as he aims for bigger matchups. Stevenson has been linked to a potential unification bout against GervontaDavis. Davis is set to fight Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st to defend his WBA lightweight title. Davis has also announced that he plans to retire later this year, with a goal of fighting 3 more times to land major fights.
And, you know, like I said, Saturday first, and then we'll go from there.
Just one on that, on the Tank fight. Are you confident that one can...
About with Stevenson is certainly a top choice for Davis, despite Stevenson's boxing style not aligning with the taste of the crossover fanbase. Eddie Hearn believes the fight can still happen if all parties have realistic expectations. However, this all hinges on Stevenson winning his next fight, as there's still uncertainty about his opponent. If all sides remain reasonable, what other big matchups are there for Davis? He has a solid fight lined up with Lamont Roach, but Davis will likely pursue major matchups for big paydays. Hearn sees the Stevenson fight as the biggest opportunity for Davis, and the same holds true for Stevenson. The 27-year-old is eyeing a fight with Davis, but first, he needs to secure an opponent for his WBC lightweight title defense in Riyadh on Saturday, which will be part of the undercard for the rematch between Error and Meebable.
Shall we say, are you confident it can be delivered, Tank versus Shakur?
As everyone's sensible. I mean, what other fights are there out for Tank? You know,
Davis, 30, has confirmed that he plans to retire from boxing by the end of this year. However, Stevenson believes the long-awaited unification clash between them is still in the cards. It's going to happen, said the New York fighter. Tank said I was on his list, so hopefully he keeps his word and we make the fight happen. With Tank's upcoming match against Lamont Roach Jr., scheduled for March 1st at the iconic Barclays Center in New York, it feels like the idea of Davis's return is becoming more real. Fans are eager to see what he does after the Roach fight, as many fighters are positioning themselves for a shot at the undefeated champion.
that Tank will want to be in big fights. He'll want to make big money, and I think the biggest fight out there...
5 Alec, the head of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, is keen to involve Gervonta Davis in organizing some of boxing's most significant fights. Davis recently spoke with the ESPN's Mike Coper in an exclusive interview, which was later shared by Ring Magazine on their Instagram. In the interview, Alec expressed his desire to see a future bout between Davis and Stevenson. I hope one day to see Shakur against Tank, said His Excellency. This remark surprised Coper, considering Alik's previously tense relationship with Davis. Remember the Ring Magazine Awards in London last month, where Davis took to social media to vent about not being invited to the event.
Davis, Shakur Stevenson.
I want him, and I send message now from you to Heyman.
Their past disagreements, Alik's invitation to Davis was unexpected. This led Coper to question him, asking, "So, you and Canelo Alvarez weren't on the same page last year, but now you're inviting GervontaDavis." Alec responded, "I don't take anything personally. I'm a professional. I don't need to like you to talk to you." This surprised Coper, who then asked if Alec appreciated Davis's talents. Alec, the owner of Ring Magazine, calmly replied, "He's a great fighter, no doubt about that."
I want him, and I send message now from you to Heyman.
Alec emphasized that Davis needs to participate in bigger and more significant fights. The Saudi royal seems to set aside personal feelings for the good of the sport, but doesn't shy away from mentioning Davis's previous comments. The key question remains, when will Davis face an opponent who truly challenges him? Perhaps he'll step up and wait for a high-profile match before his retirement. The biggest fight in boxing could be just what Davis's fans have been hoping for, Davis realizing his full potential. With a perfect 30-0 record, the hard-hitting fighter from Baltimore is undeniably a great talent.
Right.
I don't need to like you to talk with you.
But you appreciate GervontaDavis's talent, it seems.
As a fighter, he's a great fighter, of course.
Interestingly, Alec isn't the only one calling for a Davis-Stevenson showdown. Boxing legend Mike Tyson has long supported this fight and even has his personal favorite. While Davis remains a hot topic in the boxing world, the upcoming fight between Stevenson and his soon-to-be-announced opponent on February 22nd has also captured a lot of attention. However, Stevenson isn't just focused on defending his WBC lightweight title. He's aiming for the bigger prize Davis. At the Ring Magazine Awards in London, Stevenson boldly referred to their potential fight as the biggest fight in the world. In a later interview with Dev Sunny from Queensberry Promotions, Stevenson voiced his frustration with Davis's mixed signals regarding the matchup.
Somewhere. Don't get butterflies and pull out the fight, Floyd. I know it's a hard time. I know you're dealing with a lot, but just show up.
You've been tweeting about beating on him. You've been tweeting about vintage.
Despite believing their potential fight is the biggest in boxing today, Stevenson has questioned whether Davis is genuinely interested in facing him. He recalled hearing Davis say he would come for him, listing him as a target. But then Davis seemed to dismiss him, asking, "What has Shakur done for boxing? Who is he?" Stevenson called Davis's statements bipolar. A few months ago, while discussing the situation with Cameron Giles on their podcast, Stevenson expressed his confusion. On the other hand, Mike Tyson argued that Davis's aggressive fighting style would pose the perfect challenge for Stevenson, bringing out his best.
The main focus in training camp, how was your sparring and everything preparing for such a slick boxer like Shakur?
Wow, that's a great fight. I go with Tank. Everyone's going to pick Tank. But it would still be an interesting match, Tyson said when asked about the potential matchup. He acknowledged that Tank is a force to be reckoned with right now. However, he didn't downplay Stevenson's abilities, praising his skill set. Tyson mentioned that Stevenson can take a solid punch and is a specialist. Sometimes, Stevenson's fights may appear boring because he's so superior. But Tyson believes he's executing a plan to bring out the best in Stevenson. Tyson thinks someone like Tank, who pressures him, would make for a fantastic fight. With Al-Sheikh pushing for the showdown and Tyson backing it, it's clear the world is waiting for Davis to step up and make the fight happen.
We'll win out of Shakur and Gervonta.
GervontaDavis?
Yeah.
I like to go with Tank. Everyone's gonna go with Tank, It would be a very interesting fight. Shakur takes a good shot, though. He's a specialist. That's why some fights that he doesn't look good in, because he's...
Schofield, 22, was considered a significant underdog against 3-division titless Stevenson. He was the only fighter on the main card of the last Crescendo event at Kingdom Marin who skipped the festivities, which led to speculation about his health and weight ahead of the biggest fight of his young career, Schofield's page, which is believed to be managed by his father and trainer, Floyd, posted and then deleted a claim just before noon on Tuesday. The post accused someone linked to Stevenson's team of poisoning his son by applying some cream to him. This accusation quickly prompted a response from Stevenson's co-manager, Josh Dubin. Dubin warned Schofield's team about defamation laws and stated, "This fighter should be advised on the defamation laws in our country."
The main focus in training camp, how was your sparring and everything preparing for such a slick boxer like Shakur?
Dubin made it clear that slandering Stevenson would come with legal repercussions, asserting that such claims of poisoning would not go ignored. He added that Schofield was officially on notice and stressed that while people might think there's some truth to the lies about poisoning, it seemed more like an excuse for him not to fight. Dubin made these comments just before the news broke that Schofield had withdrawn from the fight. He demanded a public apology from Schofield or someone representing him. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabian officials had yet to confirm whether a replacement opponent would be found to face Stevenson. On the stacked card, which also includes heavyweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight title bouts.
This camp I feel like is the most best sparring that I got. That's my coach show. It's the sparring and everything.
Schofield appeared to be in good spirits during a Monday media appearance, where he called Stevenson a diva and claimed that his 4-month-old son was more of a man than Stevenson. There was no immediate response from representatives of Golden Boy Promotions, who managed Schofield. Eddie Hearn, who promotes Stevenson through Matchroom Boxing, provided a less dramatic explanation for Schofield's absence. Hearn speculated that Schofield might have been upset due to a mandatory weight check from the British Boxing Board of Control, which oversees the event. Early weight checks had caught other American fighters off guard, and Hearn suggested that Schofield may have needed to focus on the weight check rather than attending the grand arrivals.
Very good quality, so I'm just ready to go, ready to showcase, what I'm working on.
Do you feel like the press is more?
Probably didn't want to come to the grand arrivals and greet everyone because he's preparing for the weight check tomorrow. Hearn explained, "That's why I believe he wasn't there last night." This wasn't the first time Schofield had missed a public event leading up to his challenge against Stevenson. He also wasn't present at last month's press conference in London, which led Stevenson to speculate that Schofield might withdraw from the fight.
Obviously, you're the younger guy, the underdog. I mean, obviously, most people expected him to probably get the win. Do you think about it?
Stevenson didn't directly address Schofield's absence at the grand arrivals, but instead focused on his excitement about fighting outside the US. For the first time in his professional career, "I'm ready to show the world that I'm a superstar," Stevenson said. "I think I'm one of the best fighters in boxing, and the world will know on February 22nd. They can expect the best fighter to show up. That's what I'm going to do," Stevenson added.
I'm ready. I'm ready to capture the moment. I'm focused. I put in a great training camp, and it's my time.
Last year was a tough year for you, just one fight.
This is another obstacle Stevenson must face, as his Matchroom Boxing debut has been delayed multiple times. He was initially set to face Joe Cardino last year, but Stevenson suffered a hand injury, forcing him to pull out and cancel the fight after undergoing surgery. He was slated to fight his WBC mandatory challenger William Pa, but Pa withdrew due to a hand injury of his own. This opened the door for Schofield, who entered the fight undefeated at 18-0. However, the British Boxing Board of Control has now confirmed that Schofield has pulled out of the bout due to illness.
How eager are you to get your career back on track?
I'm ready to show the world I'm a superstar. I think I'm one of the best fighters in the sport of boxing, and the world will know February 22nd.
In the ring has learned that Shakur Stevenson, the World Boxing Council lightweight champion, is now looking for a last-minute replacement after Floyd Schofield pulled out of their scheduled fight, which was officially canceled by the British Boxing Board of Control. Sources say the potential replacements under consideration are Musa Golem and Josh Padley. This highly anticipated fight's cancellation comes just days before a major event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, which features the rematch between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. The star-studded card, featuring several world title fights, will now have one less bout. Schofield, 22, had initially arrived in Saudi Arabia and completed his media obligations on Monday, but he disappeared on Tuesday and wasn't present for the grand arrivals.
Expect on Saturday.
You said what?
What do you think people can expect on Saturday?
They can expect the best fighter to show out. That's what I'm gonna do.
Good luck, Shakur.
Gotcha.
A strange theory about poisoning has begun circulating online, suggesting that Schofield may have been spiked. Leaked messages allegedly from Schofield's father, Floyd Schofield Sr., accused unnamed individuals of poisoning his son. One leaked text allegedly sent to Schofield Sr. said, "This isn't something to take lightly, Sr. I'm not trying to play any games. I have love for y'all and I'm looking out, but they spiked your son." Reports indicate that matchmakers are now actively searching for a new opponent for Stevenson.
Obviously you got Beterbiev, Bivol, your man Dmitry, looking to right the wrongs of last time in a very close fight. He said to me he can't get this feeling out of his head, he can't stop thinking about that loss. Does that give you more confidence? Because when something's like stuck in...
In other news, fighters like Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, and Callum Smith will also be competing on the same night, making this event one of the most exciting in boxing history. However, all eyes will be on the rematch between the Russian duo Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol for the undisputed world light heavyweight title. Earlier this year, Beterbiev became the division's first undisputed champion since 2002. The two Russians fought a thrilling match in October, with Beterbiev emerging victorious. However, there was outrage from Bivol's camp when the judges' scorecards were revealed. One judge scored it a draw at 114-114. Another gave Beterbiev a 115-113 win. and the final judge awarded him a 116-112 victory, sparking an outcry.
You want to right the wrong, though.
Dimitri's a winner. You know, he's a perfectionist. It's the first time he suffered defeat. We feel like he should have won the fight. It's over now. It's going to be a very tough night's work for him.
Promoter Eddie Hearn criticized the decision, calling it an absolute joke, insisting that his fighter, Bivol, who had never been defeated, was robbed. However, Hearn acknowledged that even if the score had been closer, Bivol still would have lost. "We're going to file a protest on Monday," said Bivol's manager, Vadim Kornilov. "The judge should be held accountable for what happened. It's becoming very destructive for the sport. These organizations and sanctioning bodies have supervisors, but the supervisors are friendly with the judges, and they're even hugging them. It's starting to look like a scheme."
And I believe he'll win again on Saturday. But I feel like, you know, it's just got to go his way. You know it's going to be a close fight. They're two unbelievable fighters, but...
Shakur Stevenson, the real concern is that Davis has now confirmed he plans to retire from boxing at the end of this year. Fans and Malik Scott are hoping Davis can make the most of his final year in the sport. But Stevenson's perspective on Davis's retirement plans has shifted unexpectedly.
But you know what? You would give it a Nile River crocodile or alligator, and when I confuse alligators and crocodiles, but whatever. Give it a Nile River alligator, and
December, WBA lightweight champion Davis shocked fans by announcing that he would leave the sport after 2025, citing frustrations with boxing politics. Davis confirmed his intentions to retire after his next fight, scheduled for March 1st, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. He will defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach Jr., originally planned for December. In Houston, the fight was postponed for undisclosed reasons. This match could be Davis's final opportunity to solidify his dominance in the lightweight division before stepping away from boxing.
All right, bro, you know, you got me interested. You're like, all right, bro, let's see who wins this. You know what I mean? It's they fight, you know, obviously we're not fighting to the death in boxing, but nonetheless, intrigued me.
Davis's decision to retire at the peak of his career has caused a stir in the boxing world, sparking mixed reactions. While some criticize his choice to leave during his prime, Davis remains one of the most charismatic and polarizing figures in modern boxing. Known for his aggressive fighting style and devastating knockout power, Davis has firmly established himself as one of the sport's elites. As his retirement approaches, discussions about his legacy are expected to dominate conversations in the boxing community in the coming months.
Chasing people around, I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen, but I ain't gonna lie, I can't sit there and chase you.
If he wants to retire with the career that he's had, then go ahead and do whatever you need to do. Shakur Stevenson said in an interview with Fight Hub TV, expressing his disagreement with Davis's decision. "I think it's soft, but that's on him," Stevenson added. "I'm not going to chase anyone around. If he's willing to fight, I'm ready. I think the fight should happen, but I'm not going to sit around chasing him. He'll try to make it seem like I need him, but I don't." Stevenson warned that if Davis retires without facing him, the sport will miss out on one of the most anticipated lightweight clashes in decades.
Skilled and also very experienced at this point now. He's fought and seen pretty much every style there is, and his power is...
Boxing analyst Paulie Malignaggi voiced his dismay at Davis's decision to take what he perceives as easier opponents. When it was announced that Davis would face Lamont Roach, a super featherweight champion moving up for the challenge, Malignaggi remarked, "If Lamont Roach had made 5 defenses at 135, I'd be more interested. But right now, it's just the same recycled champions." That's all for now. For the latest updates on boxing news, events, and moments, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss our quality content. Until next time, peace out.